You don't have to take it. It's by the wrongdoing exterminated. The objective of this is to bring awareness, give tips to protect yourself, encourage self-advocacy, and expose wrongdoer tactics. What should you do? Document everything, and I mean everything. If you get a gut feeling and or you got an intuition, or you have some type of discernment that somebody's trying to be shady and come after you and acting funny, biased, discriminatory, trying to set you up, trying to be funny and cute, you know you'll have that feeling. Start writing it down, and I mean start it immediately. You start documenting everything. Date, time, who, so you need to get the names, okay? Titles, whatever you need, write it all down, and I mean it. Now, when you find out for sure somebody's coming after you, okay? Because it's going to come out. It's going to come out. So as soon as you feel it, you start writing it down. You give them notice, okay? Say, hey, look here. You need to stop it. And I mean stop it now, today. You can tell them verbally if you want to, but also put it in writing. Let's take, for instance, if you're at work, okay? It could be a co-worker, it could be a supervisor, it could be anybody. If they're discriminating against you, okay, if they're harassing you, if they're saying things that you know are inappropriate, such as sexual type of things, okay, and which we all know does go on. If it is bothering you, you need to speak up about it and do not be afraid. You can say, listen here, I don't appreciate it. I don't want to hear it. Stop it. It's offensive. It's not ethical. We're talking about a working environment. So you're going to say, I don't want to hear it. And it doesn't matter. You're going to go ahead and you're going to report it. You're going to report it to that person's supervisor, manager, or HR. Yes, you are. Because sometimes supervisors and managers of employees, we all know some of them is buddy-buddy and some of them is friends. You know how favoritism is and all that, and they won't do anything about it, okay? So make sure a couple people got the awareness, and you go back to your little notepad and you write it all down. I told Betty Jean on XYZ date at XYZ time while we were standing in the coffee room, lobby, whatever, to stop using that type of language because I'm feeling offensive. Stop saying how, you know, she like looking at somebody's, you know what, or whatever, because I'm considering that to be sexual harassment and I don't appreciate it. Or, you know, especially if it's geared towards you, you don't have to tolerate it. From a male, from a female, whoever. You let them know you stop it right now, and then you tell their higher ups. You let them know. And just in case somebody's buddy-buddy with one another and all that, you document it. Because you have a duty to go ahead and report it, okay? Just start preparing. Because let me tell you something, once they find out that you are on to them and you're going to make a fuss about their wrongdoings and their corruption, they are going to come for you. They're going to build a case against you. So you better be 2 steps ahead of them and build one against them. Now, what I say, document everything. I cannot stress that enough. Provide notice, again, to the person, people, entity, whoever it is that you feel is participating in the wrongdoing. Let them know, put them on notice. You need to stop this, okay? You demand that their behaviors cease. Stop doing what you're doing now. You can secretly record, one-way secret recording. One-way recording is most likely legal. You need to look that up for wherever you are located in your state and just kind of see, okay? Secretly record any telephone conversations, secretly record any face-to-face, you know, conversations about this matter. What these people try to do is call you into one-on-one meetings and things like that, and the Teams and WebEx and Zooms and all that, where it's not recorded, and they can just say and do whatever they want. They can intimidate you, they can harass you in there, they can have a whole bunch of other people, you know, on some type of supervisor leadership team come in there trying to intimidate you. Doesn't matter. You go ahead and participate, remain professional and tactful and everything like that. But you have your little recorder. Mhm. Just be recording away, especially if you're at home. That makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, don't tell them. Don't tell them now. It's got to be secret. Secret. Shh. Right? So yeah, because you can use that. You can use that if you end up getting to the point where you have to sue their behinds for their wrongdoing. Okay? So you secretly record them, right? And anything that you document, you got in writing, you start making sure you got your own copy outside of, say, for instance, employment. We're just using employment as an example because this is usually where this type of stuff occurs, okay, in the workplace. So if you have to bring something to somebody's attention that they need to stop it right now, you do it all in writing. Email is a great mechanism of giving this awareness. Okay, it is admissible in courts and things like that. So what you want to do, you want to give that information. If you have the option to blind copy yourself externally to your own email, please do that. If you cannot do that because of whatever encryptions or whatever they have going on, then a tip for you is if there's a snippet tool option software that you have, you utilize that to snip it out. Whatever you have sent them, you go back into your email, you snip it out, I don't care how many pages it is. Then you go and you open up Microsoft Office Word and you paste it all in the Word. Type your little note at the top, says, hey, because my email system is encrypted, I am working to get documentation because I see this matter might, you know, turn into a legal action, or I'm feeling harassed, intimidated, targeted, retaliated against, whatever I need to ensure I have the appropriate documentation. Make a little note there so you can always reference back to it. Put all your little snippet copies right there. If you don't have access to snippet tool, they don't have that as part of their software, then you can just use copy paste. Or you just open up a Word document and you just keep track. You keep track on XYZ date and time. I sent an email to XYZ and I actually stated this, because then what you could do if you ever end up in court, you could say, hey, I have when I sent the email and I have what they said, but they blocked me out of their computer system. And I can no longer get in there, once they fired me, because they're going to fire you. They're going to come for you, I'm telling you. And then what you can do if it gets to legal, a legal action, then you can get a legal hold placed on any equipment and all your emails and all that type of stuff. So they're not able to get rid of it. Okay, be smart, be smart. We're bringing the awareness. Want to stop this behavior out here of the wrongdoers. Okay, so then you got to let them know too. Hey, guess what? I'm about to turn you in. I'm about to tell on your ass because you up in here thinking you slick. You up in here thinking you cute. You sitting up here discriminating, you being biased, you got favoritism going on, and then somebody say something about it, then you want to sit up here and get an attitude, like I done did something wrong. No, it's you. You don't want the awareness to come out that you're corrupt and what you up in here doing and ruining employees' lives and shit like that when all they doing is sitting up here trying to work, get a paycheck. You ain't even paying me enough. You better get on out my face, okay? Now, these educational PowerPoints that's up on here is telling you the real dealio. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody got no time for that. We can educate, but we can keep it real too, because you already know. This is how you be thinking. It's how you really feel. Listen here, leave me the hell alone. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to work, get my little ducats, bounce on out. But you up in here making me feel uncomfortable, and your little manager or whoever sitting up here making nasty remarks to me and stuff like that, sexual manner or whatever, and I'm not gonna take it. You ain't gonna sit up here and sweep it under the rug, okay? Because I'm about to tell on you. You need to tell them I'm about to tell on you, and you need to tell on them. No bluffing. You understand what I'm saying? You tell, listen here, I'm getting ready to file EEOC. I'm getting ready to file civil rights. I'm getting ready to send a message over to the governor's office. I'm getting ready to send a message to the High Attorney General or whoever. Okay? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm getting ready to get on your web page. I'm getting ready to put a notice on your web page of what you allow. Okay. I'm gonna do a Google review. I'm gonna do all that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get on my TikTok. I'm gonna tell the world. I'm gonna get on my Twitter. I'm gonna let it be known. I'm gonna tell it on Facebook. I'm gonna put it on the reels. I'm gonna put it on Instagram. You better shut up. Okay, let it be known. This stuff has to stop. It has to stop. Okay, so I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna tell the world. But what you really need to do is make certain that there's certain entities have the awareness of these wrongdoings, because actually it is illegal, and actually it is unethical, and actually it does need to stop. And it is going on far too much, and nobody's saying a damn thing about it. Okay, but that's getting ready to end. So now you need to let folks know. So you need to file a charge. It's called a charge with EEOC and with Civil Rights Commission, wherever you are located. Okay, that is what you need to do. And they will investigate. So you can give them the awareness of that, right? Okay, so if you got something else going on where, say, an alternate place that does investigations like OSHA, also you'll file a charge with them as well. That's more safety specific types of things. And with OSHA, they investigate. The difference with them, they do not let the respondent, which is whoever you're telling on what they're wrongdoing, they don't let them know that you're the one that turned them in. So they will not know unless you bring the awareness. And when they know it's you, they're going to come for you. So just be ready. All right, let's move along. Here's a little video here that you can actually go out and check out. Okay. Yeah. Let's see if it plays here at all. It doesn't look like it's going to play here. But you can just type this in, on your web page or whatever.
We have a very interesting question that was submitted.
Oh.
Again, the question did not give it a lot of specifics, just a general, how do you say this, general problem. So essentially, the employee appears to be a newly hired employee. And then when he started doing his work, he realized that the company was doing a lot of unethical things, or maybe fraudulent acts. Okay? Again, there were no exact specifics, so I leave it to your imagination and my imagination. What could be those unethical or fraudulent things? Okay. So the employee basically is asking a generic question like, what should he do? What should she do in the situation? Simple. You have to resign. You have to leave that company.
No, you don't.
I mean, there are no specifics, but the way I understood the question and the way my imagination
he thought that
was
was funny, didn't he?
If that employer or company,
you don't need to resign. You need to tell them. They're gonna fire you any day. You let them fire you.
Particularly if it's a fraudulent fraud.
What are you talking about? He need to shut up. What?
Okay, pandaraya.
What you talking about?
Not good to
you need to see this
video.
Y'all need to watch this video. Don't you resign?
A
You stay there and
criminal
get your
case.
paycheck. I got time for that. Who can just up and resign?
You
I got
find
bills.
yourself
Got rent, electric,
being
gas, phone.
charged
You better shut up.
for a
Car,
criminal case before the office of the prosecutor or the fiscal.
Don't tell nobody
Worst case
resign.
scenario,
No.
gets escalated to
Glad we put this on here.
the court,
We really
the
bring
RTC
awareness.
or the MTC, and you
He on the
have a lot
employer
of
side.
nightmares.
Talking about resign.
Okay.
And laughing about it. He needs some.
And then usually in this situation, if you have that kind of an employer, the employer will likely not pay for your attorney's fees or your legal fees. So you're left to your own devices. So there's so many downsides on the part of the employee.
Not do the right thing. He said there's no specific way to go about it. He a liar.
There's not much gain.
He is a liar.
By the way, he did not mention his
He's a
compensation salary. So the only reason I can think of why an employee would still remain in that kind of situation is if the employee is getting very big compensation or pay. Okay, so maybe that will offset his or her decision making. Because why would you give up?
Don't you quit?
You hear this, a high-paying job.
Don't you do it? You let them fire you, and because you documented everything
in that situation. Well, if you decide to stay,
don't you leave?
And
let them
if
fire you.
Do have a high-paying job, chances are You
When you
are
ain't done nothing wrong,
a
don't you back
manager,
down. You
senior
advocate for
manager,
yourself.
or
Who is
executive,
this? He's sitting up here saying that.
or a
Oh,
director of
hell
that
to the
company.
no. We
And in
tired of
that
saying. Go
case,
look at
usually
go listen to it yourself.
under
Why he still
various
talking on
laws
my
and
stuff?
regulations, those who become primarily liable for any civil, criminal,
Okay, anyhow, we're gonna talk over
or
here.
even labor cases in some cases,
Who can you report to?
corporate officers or directors are the ones who are made primarily
You
liable,
gonna report to
particularly
EEOC
those
if
who
you got
committed the
an
act
employment issue
or
or
who
discrimination.
ordered, instructed, directed to
These
do
are protected.
the
EEOC
illegal
and
or
OSHA,
fraudulent
these are
act.
protected activities that you
So,
participate in.
Yeah, take
It's
that
always a
into
civil rights
consideration
commission.
if that's the case.
I guess we gotta just
So
listen to him because he's
again,
talking too
to go
much.
back to our example, I make an assumption that the one making the question is simply an ordinary rank and file employee, or maybe a supervisor, but definitely not at managerial level.
Let's see if we can
It
stop
did not
him
appear
from
to me
talking.
that he was one.
Let's see.
So,
Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Let's stop him from talking. Let's close out some of this stuff. Yeah, no. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. We don't want it. We don't want him doing that. Let's get back over here to what we was doing, okay? Now, where did it go? You're gonna really mess me up here. All right. Let's just go down here and bring it back up because look what he did. He done messed me up. He made me so mad. Yes, he did, babe. All right, here we go. All right. We're going through this together. Okay. Back to it. This was actually really good to add in here so you know people don't want you to speak up and speak out. I'm not no expert at this. I'm coming on here giving you the awareness on what you can do. We're going through this stuff together, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Listen. Go and listen to that though, see what he's saying. No, you do not resign. Why did he put that there? Okay. Document everything, like I said, provide notice to whoever the wrongdoer is that, hey, you're feeling uncomfortable or however you're feeling about the thing, demand that these behaviors cease immediately, okay? You can secretly record them in a one-on-one or face-to-face meeting. One-way recording secretly is allowed in most states. Ohio, it is, okay? But it has to be secret. Don't go announcing that you recorded them, all right? Send anything that you document to yourself, all right? You can blind copy it if it's an email. Use the snippet tool, snippet out certain things, open up a Word document or whatever and put it on there, copy paste, same thing. Or if you can't do that, then you need to be taking paper notes or something like that as detailed as possible, ensuring that you have put on there the dates and things like that and to who you sent emails and stuff like that to. In the case that you get to some legal realm, they will need to be able to pull that. They'll put a hold on the equipment and your correspondences and things like that. They'll be able to pull that if it gets that far, okay? So alert them that, hey, I'm going to return you in. Now, who are you going to turn them into? You can report things to the EEOC, okay, OSHA, your governor's office, attorney general, social media, to their review sites, or go on their web pages and stuff like that, ethics commission, civil rights commission, whoever you think of, let it be known. Now, things like the governor's office, attorney general, they may or may not have jurisdiction to intervene on whatever you're going through. There's appropriate entities for that. However, but what I will tell you, when you do place these types of complaints, it becomes public record. Okay, so anybody searching that company up or anything like that, even media, they can go and they can see what people have been complaining about. So the objective here is to bring the awareness of what's going on, and then you sit up here and put it on public record. Okay, whether they got the jurisdiction to do anything about it or not, you had the awareness. So it's okay. And 9 times out of 10, when you report things like this to these entities like this, they're going to refer you to the appropriate agency anyways. They are. So EEOC, you know, you got discriminatory things going on there, harassment type issues. And then once you participate in protected activity and they come for you, they retaliate, that is absolutely illegal. And they will. So make sure you got your ducks in a row. All right. Now, yeah, file charges with, it's called a charge with the EOC. It's a charge with OSHA. It's a charge with Civil Rights Commission. Okay. And if you're dealing with people that hold licensure, you need to also outreach their licensing boards and let them know what their the individual that they held to a professional conduct standard and ethical codes. If they're violating those, you need to bring the awareness, and those entities will do their own separate investigation into the person that holds a license with them. All right, here's another little video. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's close out some of this stuff.
I failed all of my classes in high school and ended up dropping out. I also scored in the ninth.
Oh man, I didn't mean to close that. Let's go back again. That was the actual video. That's all right, we're getting back to it. Let's watch this together.
Everybody has boss. And
Credit to
someone's
Christopher
got someone
Bauer.
supervising them all the
Let's
way
listen
up
to this.
to the board, right? You have the opportunity to tell someone in a position to investigate as needs to be investigated, as you can intervene as needs to be, whatever intervention is required. And that's not so easy either. Obviously, among other things, and maybe most prominently, people are afraid of some kind of retribution. And unfortunately, there's never going to be a guarantee there won't be some retribution.
That's right.
I would love to
Tell
say
'em, Chris.
something other than that. What I can say
Mhm.
is even with some recent repeals in the protections that are provided federally in this country for whistleblowing, it's still pretty solid protection. If you, in good faith, confront someone or report someone for something that you believe, and especially if it's something you know to be
Yes,
unethical, or again, particularly if you know it to be illegal, or you believe it to be illegal.
that's right.
Yeah,
But document it.
obviously, I'm not going to be idiotic enough to say, no, there's not going to be some pushback on that or be some negative consequences. Unfortunately, there might be.
Yes,
What
and
I
there
can
will
say
be.
is, in my experience, it is really, truly, unusually rare that those that negative pushback or that retribution, whatever form, in whichever form it comes, isn't dealt with through either the administrative system up through HR or in the legal system if need be. And those outcomes are usually pretty good. That's different from looking someone in the eye and saying, no, I can guarantee you there won't be a problem. You can't in good conscience make some of that guarantee. You certainly can in good
And more
conscience
research
say,
in this area actually needs to be
I'm
done
pretty sure I can take
because
care of it.
there
And
actually
again,
is
as long
high
as it's done in
incidents
good
that
Right?
you're going to
Now,
be
you can't
retaliated
do it just
against,
because you're
and it can
cranky
be
and
settled.
your
But what's going to
boss
happen
annoys
is
the
they're going
snot
to
out of
come
you
for
and they-
you, and
something
they're
you
going to
don't
make
like, and
it
so you're going
as
to
if you're
go
the
tell on
problem.
them. Obviously,
They're
that's
going to
not a
turn
good
it
faith
into
report. But if there's
performance
something that you
problems.
see
They're
that
going to
really
find
is
and
not right,
nitpick
you have to
ways
speak
to
up.
build a case against you. And I'm telling you,
Among other things, we have to remember
he's just a nice
that
guy.
if you see
Chris.
something that even might be unethical and you don't respond to it in an appropriate way on an appropriate timeline, we automatically inherit some of the ethical culpability. And if you see something that even might be illegal and we don't respond to it in the appropriate way on the appropriate timeline, in more and more and more cases, we in fact inherit some of the legal culpability as well.
All right, go check him out. Great. He looks like he has some more great things. Yeah, looks like he has some more great.
It's not necessarily
All right, let's get back to it. I know I gotta get better at this, but you know, it doesn't matter, really. We're going through this together. We're learning together. Doesn't matter. Now, what should you expect? You should expect that most will not take you serious. They're gonna think you're not gonna do anything about it. You're just gonna keep taking it and taking it, taking it, and you get away with it. And no, you need to not do that. And like Chris stated, You need to really do these things in good faith, okay? And really report what's actually going on, because the objective is ultimately to bring about improvement in behaviors and to stop this corruption and to stop these acts that are actually going on, okay? And out here in the universe, what's being stated is that retaliation typically does not occur because all these laws and everything are in place to protect it. Well, that's not true in every case. It is not. And more so than not, okay? It's going to happen to you. Mark my words. So you better prepare. Now, some do not respond to your notices, like Chris was saying about report it to your supervisor or HR or whatever. They're going to overlook whatever you state, especially if you send it in writing. They're not going to respond in writing. What they're going to do is come to you in some alternate way to verbally find out what's going on so they can later deny anything that you said and all that type of stuff, and it be considered hearsay. And they're going to call you on the phone, or they're going to call you into some type of meeting, like a one-on-one meeting, that type of deal. Yeah, but that's okay. If they do that, here's another tip for you. Participate, be professional, tactful, diplomatic. But what you do is you follow up in writing to any meetings that were over the phone or one-on-ones, you know, through the Zoom or WebEx or Teams or whatnot. You follow up in writing. Hello, just want to follow up to the telephone conversation that we had today on, you know, October, 27, 2022. Just so we are on the same page, I just want to clarify that these are the things that we talked about and what my intentions are from here, what you outlined, the steps that you would take to remedy what I'm going through, and bullet point all of those things. And you'll put, please respond to this correspondence if I have misunderstood anything, okay? They're not going to respond to you. Not if they're not about the right thing. All right. But you did what you were supposed to do. You got your documentation and send it to yourself and copy it to another thing and make sure you got it. Make sure you got it. Okay. Okay. Because if you allow this verbal conversations and these face to face and there's no real record of it, guess what? What I say here. They will deny everything. They will retaliate against you. Yes, they will. They will say you are the problem. They will build a case of performance issues against you. If you're talking about employer, that's what they're going to do. They want to get rid of you. You're bringing awareness, you're getting eyes on them. Some outside sources, external entities like EEOC, OSHA, Ethics Commission, their licensing boards, their accrediting bodies, you know. Oh yeah, the public. You know, and especially if there's public interest into a particular entity, you know, they don't want this to get out. They don't want this to get out and ruin their reputation, things like that. Trust and believe what I'm telling you. See what he got to say. Well, you know, once we go out here to the internet, it's going to get all jacked up, but that's okay. Just hang on in there. You have to hang on in there. We want to hear what he got to say. All right.
Now,
Credit
let me
to
go over retaliation with
King.
you, everyone, because this is the
HR
number one
retaliation.
reason why supervisors are being sued all around the country. Retaliation. And what that screams in my ear as I travel the country is that either supervisors are not taking this serious enough,
No, they're
or
not.
they have not been trained on the seriousness of this law.
They've been trained.
Retaliation simply
They don't
means
care.
after a
Some,
charge
not
has
all.
been made, write it down. After a charge has been made, the person making the charge is now treated differently. The courts view that as retaliation. So let me give you just a real brief example. Let's say that Joe is the supervisor of this particular department. Now, under his auspices, he has these different employees. Now, one of the employees who is Mary makes a charge that she was sexually harassed by Joe, who is the supervisor. He's the suit. Now, Mary makes this charge against Joe and says he sexual harassed me. Now, coming to her defense is Bill, Joanne, and Will. All of these individuals saying, yes, Joe indeed did sexually harass her. Now, the court says that once she makes this charge against Joe, she makes a charge. Now, I want you to understand that a charge does not have to go to court. It's just simply a charge. It can go to court, but a charge has been made. After the charge has been made, the supervisor now treats the individual differently.
Great information
Now,
here.
the court says that
Thank you, Dr.
Mary
King.
must be protected
Listen now,
against what?
listen here now.
Retaliation. Joe cannot retaliate against her. And so it
But Joe
behooves
does, and
Joe
Joe will.
to make sure that he continues to give her the same assignments, be fair with her, be the same as she were before he was before she made the charge.
Oh, you know Joe
Now,
ain't gonna
watch
do
this,
that.
everyone.
Joe pissed.
Here's why retaliation is so very dangerous. Because everyone in the organization has the ability to sue Joe for retaliation. It's the largest protected class in the world. Now, the court says that Bill, Joanne, and Wilma, they all witnessed it and they testified on her behalf. The court says now Bill, Joanne, and Wilma, and Mary, they all must be protected against this thing called retaliation. In other words, let's say that Joe says, hey, you know what? Bill, you had a raise coming, but I'm not gonna put you in line for that promotion or that raise because you testified against me. Now, please understand, the courts are not silly. These are not stupid people. These are very wise people. They hear these cases all the time. And so Joe doesn't have to actually say that. The court always looked to what? Motives. They will always look to the motive of what was going on. And so the court says all of them, they can file. Bill, who now Joe says you're not going to get that raise, he can actually file a separate lawsuit against Joe for retaliation. So can Wilma and Joanne. Every single person is protected. That's why it's
But
so
see, they don't think you're gonna do
absolutely
it.
critical
You hear
that
me?
you
They don't
understand
think
this
you're
thing called
gonna do
retaliation.
it.
Run the video back
And
again
it's not that
and
easy.
listen carefully to what I
Filing
said. It
lawsuits
is the number
costs.
one reason for
Finding
supervisors to be
attorneys
sued,
costs.
and it continues to
Attorneys
go up.
costs.
It
Not
screams in
everybody
my
gonna
ear,
take your
supervisors
case.
are not being trained.
So be wise.
Let's go
be
to the
smart.
next video. I want to show you a powerful law that's catching a lot of supervisors off guard.
Thank you, Dr. King.
Now, let me go over retaliation with you, everyone.
All right. Now, let's go back to our video. This is just the slides. You guys can use this free slides to make your own PowerPoints and stuff like that. You know, it's on Google. I think I told you before and something else we were doing. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. King, for that. Moving on. Go check him out. Go check him out. The rest of his videos that he has on there. Very, very intelligent young man with a lot of great information for you to, you know, get the tools, tips, and education, and equip yourself in the event that you need to protect yourself and advocate for yourself. And you know, really, when you're advocating for yourself in instances like this, because these are poor behaviors and illegal and unethical acts that need to be stopped. So in essence, what you're actually doing as well by advocating for yourself, you know, it's going to by default trickle down and help other people, such as employees, correct? Now, what do you need to remember? You need to remember, again, report anything that you're going through. If you're feeling discriminated against, harassed, you know, report this to your supervisor or manager. If it is the supervisor that's the wrongdoer, go to their manager, okay? Sometimes these folks are all friends and things like that. So you need to go to HR at all times as well. Sometimes HR folks, it's bad apples everywhere, okay? But you document everything. And when you tell them you're going to report them to external entities, because you need to get outside eyes on what they're doing, you need to follow through with it, and you better, and you need to do it. So you tell them, listen here, stop it right now, supervisor. Manager, you tell the supervisor to stop it right now. Manager, if you don't intervene and do what you're supposed to do to hinder these acts from continuing, I'm going to file external. Or you just say, listen, I'm just giving you the awareness that I've let you know that it's going on. I need you to put in place some action to stop it. But in the meantime, I'm going ahead and report you. So So I'll make sure that you do it, right? So that's what you need to do. Okay? Then, always in writing. Tell them you're reporting them to an external entity, like I said, and you do it. Don't be bluffing, you really do it. Okay? Because what ends up happening, the investigating entity like EEOC, OSHA, civil rights, they're going to ask you, when did you report this? Or do they have the awareness? They're going to ask you, who did you notify? When? What dates? What was their name? So that's why documentation is so important. You need to be able to readily just give this information. Okay. If you notify the wrongdoer of your intent to file the charge against them, the entity that you're asking, the external entity that's going to be investigating will be asking you this. Did you let them know? Did you let the person that was doing the wrong to you know? Then who did you tell that's over the wrongdoer what's going on so they can intervene and stop it internally? Okay, they're going to want to know all this information. So again, keep record of everything. Now, if you're reporting to OSHA, like a safety hazard, that type of thing that you want to investigate, OSHA will not by any means reveal to the employer, for instance, that you were the one that told on them. They will not tell that. Okay, all right, they will not. So being retaliated against in this instance is a little bit more rare. But if the entity employer, for instance, has the knowledge, maybe you talked to somebody who you thought was your friend, or maybe you followed up an email and said, listen, I've already reported you to OSHA. So you still haven't got it together, they got the awareness that it was you. If they find out that wrongdoer, they will come for you. Yes, they will. If they're corrupt, if they're unethical, if they are, it's routine for them to participate in bias and prejudice and discriminatory acts and to allow things such as sexual harassment, despite the fact that they have the awareness. Yes, they're going to come for you because they want you out of there. All right, so prepare to get fired, pretty much. Okay, but as long as you've been documenting everything, you got your proof together and everything, you're gonna be all right. It's okay. But you do not resign, like that other man said a few slides back. No, 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 no. Now, in some instances, you actually can resign. Okay, but it's got to be very severe. Got to be very severe retaliation and thing. You got to really have some good documentation and witnesses and all those types of things to support you. And I will tell you, you're 9 times out of 10 not going to get anybody to support you in this, even though other employees have the awareness of what you're going through. It may have happened to them as well. They're not going to be on your team. They're not going to agree to it because what? They have fear as well that they're going to be retaliated against. They already know. So they're not going to want you to include them in any way. They're not going to support you. I'm telling you. Stay tuned for more wrongdoers.